of machine, and out of this type of machine, using eplan's API, be able to actually generate my schematics exactly the way I want. So for instance, you could have here in your configuration some groups, some general options using a specific type A, type P machine. You could have different options on or off. Now, depending on how you actually set it up, these could be conditional options, as you can see here, using just regular eplan formulas. It's very simple actually to build it to whatever needs you need. And in the backbone, what we're basically using is the technology of the eplan macro. As you know, eplan is a software that allows us to do electrical schematics, and using typical circuits such as some power supply, specific type of motors, motor A, motor B, type A control, type B control. You can basically place them one by one, and eplan will take care of the rest. And eventually you would be one of those customers that could say, we are 250% faster or 40% faster to time to market. That means that you need less time to actually build your documentation. Let me show you a little bit how this works. So in this case here, coming back to my configurator, I have on the backbone an API called the schematic generator. Schematic generator is a tool that we put together here that basically places, instead of the user, it places the macros automatically. So technically we have here a series of macros. You can see type A, type B, that either comes in when the result is a V, it places it vertically, and if there's an exclamation mark, it just simply doesn't come in. So depending on what you do on the configurator side, you can call in a certain macro or not. And the ESGX, as we call it, the eplan schematic generator API, looks very simple. It's just a very small interface like this, where you can specify where your circuits are located in terms of files, eplan macros, what file you want, and you just hit the button generate, and it will technically go through this Excel sheet and just call up each individual macro and fill out the template that you have pre-configured here. And eplan templates, as you know, pre-configure what type of form you'll be using for your bill of material, what kind of symbols you will be using, what kind of device tag numbering you will be using. And still, the fact that we actually generate an eplan file, we have the possibility to modify this as we wish. So if we have specific requests from the end customer, we can apply it. Here we can say we're generating page 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very quick. If you have some errors in your Excel sheet, we actually tell you what the errors are. And here's, for instance, an example of a type A machine that I generated and a type B machine that I did generate. Let's take a look. This was generated previously with a few different pages. And I'm going to open here the other one, which is the type B that we just configured, and we'll actually take a look at these two machines. As you can see, here's my macro project. Selecting the macro project, I will simply close it down here as we come along. So let's take this, let's close it down, and we have these two projects, type A, type B. In both cases, if I open type B motor, you can see here on the right hand side that we have 1, 2, 3 motors. On the type B, we actually have a different configuration. If I go to my controls, type A here, I have a certain type. I go to the next one, I have a certain type again that is called up, depending on with more or less options, right? Now, what is nice about this is, of course, when I generated this initially, I may have picked up a very specific wire tag from the original sample. I can take this and reconfigure the wires to whatever the customer needs. So if the customer has here a custom way of doing his wire numbers, as an example here, I'm going to create a custom scheme, and in this custom scheme I will actually readjust the wire numbering format. The ones that are connected to PLC, I will actually put in front of this a W to represent this as a wire, So if I say in front of it, I just have to move it up, and I will at the same time renumber the terminals if any terminals are coming along. Now for the other wires that are just general power wires, I'm going to put a P in front of these wires, right? And this P goes in the front here. So let's see if this works. Let's renumber at the same time also the terminals, why not? So this is the small checkbox we have here. So this custom configuration is now available, and I could actually share it with other projects if I need to, if this may repeat. So in this particular case, you can see here all the P's that got added, and if I go to some controls where we will see some inputs or outputs, in this particular case here, we have a W that was added. If it's a power wire, we get a P. So this is done automatically. Now, of course, the last step before we actually release this document, and this is really the power of eplan, in one single click, you can generate a terminal diagram, a connection list, a wire list, a terminal diagram, a bill of material. Let's start with the bill of material. Here is a bill of material that got generated automatically out of what we have here. The wire list of all the wires that are actually in this particular project. So if you actually zoom in, you will see every one of these wires either with a P or a W as it was requested initially. I can generate terminal diagrams. I can generate 35 different types of reports to help my manufacturing team actually build this system. And at the end of the day, I can even do better than this. I can share it with my customers by generating a smart PDF. Check out our website on eplan.ca. You will actually see what I'm talking about. You can find it also on the other websites of eplan. Come and see it and ask for a demonstration of how this could help you. And as I said, based on a configurator that is completely customizable in Excel, I can generate different types of machines and schematics.